Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kara here with another Infinite Magicraid video, and in today's video I'm going to be ranking every single free-to-play guaranteed character you can get in this game and whether or not they're worth building or worth avoiding. The first character is Kristian here, and this guy is kind of mid-tier. He's not too great, but he is a decent shielder, someone you're probably going to end up replacing. But let's go through his kit here so you can kind of understand him. So deals 2 stages of 60% attack damage to a single enemy. The second stage of the attack is a 20% chance to inflict stun. Pretty low chance there, but just kind of a bonus if you actually inflict stun. It's very rare to have this on an auto attack, but the chance is so low that it doesn't really matter. And then he grants a 20% shield, which is actually pretty good. You know, there's definitely way better shield characters out there, but it's a nice thing to have in the beginning of the game if you don't have one of these guys, for a little bit more survivability. His passive here is a 24% chance to shorten the Sword of Justice cooldown, which is his ult here, by 1 when he takes direct damage, which another RNG thing. He already has a 20% chance to inflict stun and a low chance to get his ult back, but his ult is a AoE damage, which is really not that great. This guy's kind of a mix of both a support, but then also is supposed to do damage, so not that great of a character overall here. Probably the only thing you're going to use him for is this shield, but he's definitely not worth actually leveling up. He's just kind of torn between a support and a damage dealing character, which is a very bizarre combo. And next, let's talk about Eden here. She is another free-to-play character you get right off in the beginning of the game, and she's actually pretty good. There's definitely better healers out there, but she's not terrible. First is her auto attack, deals 160% attack damage to a single enemy with a 60% chance to reduce their attack. Way better chance when you actually have her booked. It's a 100% chance to reduce attack, which is awesome on a A1 there, especially for bosses. Has a A2 where it increases all ally attack by 20% for 2 turns. This is pretty dope. On a 3-turn cooldown if you decide to book her. And then her passive is pretty interesting, where it increases her self speed by 4% up to 3 times, and then as you book her significantly more times at the end of each turn, this effect can be removed. So she's going to constantly make herself faster and faster, which is pretty sick. And then her ult is restores HP by 8% of max HP for all allies and grants them a layer of heal for 2 turns. So overall, good character. Another thing to keep in mind is that you do get a guaranteed 2 copies of her here, because if you go down to the battle order, this is the battle pass, and at level 20 you get another one. So we should check out her exclusive here and see if it's any good. So it is her exclusive, you check it right here, is Enchanted Blessing, grants 1 layer of heal for 3 allies with the lowest HP percentage for 2 turns. So this right here is a nice little bonus, nothing too crazy, but this is a good ability in my opinion. Being able to have this extra 20% attack, I think that's actually pretty sick. It's going to help out your carry. She needs minimal investment early, so it's everything you would want out of a character early game. But if you end up pulling other healers, for example, Maya or Liz, Liz being, I would say, top tier, #1 priority for a healer in her, or you end up pulling someone like Maya. I forget where she's at specifically, but she's another good healer. Okay, so she's another good one to pull too. So if you end up pulling one of those two, I would probably go with that direction, but if you didn't, then Eden's a pretty good choice. And so next, let's go back to the battle order here. This is one of the best characters in the game here, and it's an epic and guaranteed in Wim level 40. I believe that's 40, right? Yeah, level 40 in the battle order or battle pass. What makes this guy so good is he has shields, but also very proactive shields. This just a standard auto attack, 200% defense damage, which is nice that you can build him. You're going to be building him tanky, so he scales off his own defense. And then this right here, his A2 deals 100% defense damage to an enemy and 2 other random enemies, and then grants them consolidation 1, which is just damage reduction for 2 turns, which is nice. And his passive, for every ally whose HP is below 24%, Wim grants them a shield for by 20% of his max HP when he survives for 2 turns. So this is proactive shielding, which is really nice in this game. It really helps people survive. If you build him with a ton of HP, you take a ton of damage, and then the shield will proc automatically. So I think this is awesome. And then lastly, he grants a shield of 40% of Wim's max HP on all allies for 2 turns. So this, as you can see the difference between him and Kristian, this is way more, a kid makes way more sense, where it's all about protection, and not only active protection here, but then passive ones here where you can be off cooldown and still have this trigger. So I like that a lot for him. And then his exclusives, if you get lucky enough to pull multiple copies, we don't know if in the battle order, if he's just going to keep coming back or if they're going to have another one. I hope that they just keep every single time they do one of these, this is about once a month, that they just put another version of this. So we're guaranteed to get exclusives of Wim. But if they end up switching it to a different character, it's a bummer, and this will just have to be lucky. But this guy is definitely going to be one you're going to want a fully exclusive if you get lucky enough to do so, because he just gets better and better. Liz is on a 4-turn. He's on a 4-turn as well, but he gets that extra action turn in there. So you get to have that shield pop off. That one extra turn is a big deal in my opinion. So I like him a ton, whereas with Liz, this is not a guaranteed character, but this is, another character in that contender for top spot as an epic character here, or she's on the 4-turn. But the thing that's really nice about her, and so she doesn't replace Wim. They're not competing for that same spot. I just want to say that that's one thing I like about Wim over her, is that she has a shield that's just as big, especially if you have her exclusive 3'd, but you have to wait the full 4 turns for it. Whereas with Wim, he gets to cheat it out every 3. But with hers, the big difference is that she cleanses dots. So she's still an amazing character, and you'd want to run both of them. Okay, so next, let's talk about the one you get in the 7 days. This is the first legendary we get for free, and it's Space. And I can't underestimate this character. Like, I can't overemphasize enough that this is one of the best characters in the game. Super good character to invest in, and it's awesome that we get her guaranteed. She's insane. So what she ends up doing, their entire kit is awesome. So her auto attack here deals X amount of attack damage to an enemy and reduces their turn meter by 15%. And then the reduction goes down to 25%, or up to 25% when you have her booked. And if you happen to pull another copy of her, it reduces 10 more turn meter and increases the attack damage by 100%. So it goes from 25 to 35%. So really good auto attack there to be able to keep people's turn meter down. And then her A2, this is awesome, deals 200% attack damage to a single enemy with a 60% chance to reduce the speed by 40% for 2 turns. Meanwhile, increases all ally speed by 20% for 2 turns. So it really changes that gap there where we're all going to be significantly faster, and then the person you're facing is going to be significantly slower. This is super good against dungeons when you finally get to the boss, because then you can combine that with her passive here, increases self-turn meter by 18% at the beginning of each wave. So she's very likely to go first, even if she's slower in a lot of case scenarios, except for Arena. Obviously, like, a lot of people are going to have their own space, and you got to actually outspeed them. But because of this passive, she's going to be going first, because a lot of bosses, you'll notice, have a lot of speed. And so you want to have a ton of speed on her, but you don't need to have exactly as much speed, because this passive here is awesome. Then you'll be able to have her go first and apply this first on them and get that 40% speed reduction to help the rest of your team go before the boss. Lastly, restores all allies HP by 10% of max HP and grants them a layer of heal for 2 turns. Meanwhile, increases turn meters by 20%. A big thing to keep in mind in this is that this is not enough of a heal to really keep you alive. This is more of a complementary thing. The thing you really care about is the turn meter increase from this. So you're going to be, usually you want to do this first to boost everyone's speed. And then when she comes back around, she boosts up all the turn meter and can heal, which is a nice little heal, but you still want to have Wim, you still want to have Liz in there to make sure people are topped up. And then this is nice too, being able to reduce the turn meter. And a lot of bosses have turn meter reduction effect reduced, but it's still noticeable and it still helps a ton having all of the speed in one character. Super good character. And the big thing with Space is that most of the time you're going to be leveling up all of your other characters in the meantime, and then so she's going to be squishy. So when you get to the boss, she just dies. But once you get her to the point where she can survive enough on these bosses, she's going to make a massive difference in your dungeon runs. And a lot of bosses have scaling damage, where you got to get them out of there in a relatively quick amount of time, or their attack, they're just going to get way too strong. Every hit is going to keep getting stronger and stronger. So having a way to not only boost your speed and reduce theirs, it puts them on a significantly longer clock before they're just going to kill everyone on your team. So that's another reason why she's so awesome. Margarita here, what she can do is, and deals 100% attack damage to an enemy, single enemy twice, and gains a layer of blade. Her whole kit concept is about this passive here in blade, and then once you stack up enough of them, then she does her passive here, where when Margarita has 6 layers of blade, when you actually book her, it's going to be 4 layers of blade. She consumes all layers and deals 200% attack damage to all enemies. So her A2 deals 420% attack damage to a single enemy and then grants 2 layers of blade. And that's another thing that's going to be stacking. And then her ult here, this is the main thing about her, is going to be deals 3 stages of 100% attack damage to all enemies and then grants 3 layers of blade. So right here, notice how her an exclusive 1 has 4 attack stages now and grants 1 more layer of blade. So she gets really buffed by the exclusive 1 of this character. So keep that in mind. She might be a contender to get your exclusive 1. I'm not going to recommend her as just generally a character to give your exclusive 1. I'd have to look into everyone's account because everyone gets an exclusive 1 for free. But she's one of the characters that benefits most from an exclusive 1. The difference here, just notice how big of a difference this is. So when she's non-exclusive, she's going to do 300% attack damage or 330% or what is that, 390 all at once, but then not going to proc her passive. But then the difference between that and her exclusive is she's going to do this move 4 times now, and she's going to immediately proc her passive to do another 200%. So it's such a massive difference in her actual nuking capabilities here by just having 1 exclusive on there. So keep that in mind, but she's a great character. Okay, here we go. The number 9 out of 10 on the leaderboard using Margarita still on here, so she's still really good. Main thing is they pair her with this character here and Bissidin and selects an ally and removes their buffs and cleanses. Debuffs afterward increases 40% attack, 50% crit rate, and 60% crit damage, and then reduces their defense by 60%. So the whole point of this, and especially if you have Bissidin exclusive 3, then it's going to make her go immediately. So she gets to just go first, get all these buffs, and just completely nuke the entire team out of there. And then also, if you don't have and then there's another guy in Focus that does something very similar that resets everything. This guy right here, actually, conveniently enough, he does something similar where it increases the allies turn meter by 100%, resets their active cooldown, meanwhile increases attack by 40%. Main thing is you combine both of them and you can make her just nuke completely, and then if they're still alive, he comes in and makes them nuke again. So that's a very popular combo with Margarita there. And so next is going to be Catherine here. This one is someone you get at the end of this. You do all of these chapters here, and then you finally get her at the end. Or you can get her at the end of campaign here. So when you finish campaign, 3-star the entire campaign, you get her here. Then the last place you get a ton of copies for her is Tower of Mark, and that's how you finish out her exclusives. So that's how you get her. She's one of the best characters in the entire game. She's absolutely amazing. If you look at anyone's tier list, you're gonna see her constantly as tier in all categories. And what makes her so good is a combination of things. So her auto attack here inflicts feebleness, feebleness 2. So the second stage of the attack has a 60% chance, 100% chance when booked to inflict feebleness 2. And what feebleness does is increases the damage received by 40%, which is amazing, especially on an auto attack there. So very easy to apply. So you can consistently get it. Like guild boss or dungeon bosses, for example. She has this consolidation 2 on all allies for 2 turns. When you have her exclusive 3, it's going to reset. You get to actually do another turn again. I believe, yeah, Catherine gains 1 more action turn after she releases Solid Guardian. So that's that exclusive 3 here. So it's going to be a very long time until people can get that portion. And her passive is absolutely insane because restores all allies HP by 4.8% of Catherine's max HP, increases to like 5 something when booked at the beginning of each turn. So every time she goes, she's going to be healing everyone. But her exclusive 1 is what really makes this busted, where it's cleanses 1 layer of debuff for every ally at random when burst of energy is triggered. So this is where I have her now, and then it changes it because I like to have her go first now when I have her exclusive 1 because it cleanses everything off, and then when she goes, and then the rest of your team can go unhindered by whether it be a stun or whatever. And even if she is stunned, she cleanses it and still can go. So if you just stun her with her exclusive 1, she's just going to cleanse it off anyway. So you need to apply multiple debuffs on her, and then you still could get unlucky because she might randomly cleanse the stun. So keep that in mind when you're facing the exclusive 1 version of Catherine. And then lastly, she has this right here, the counterattack. Grants all allies counterattack and shield by 40% of max HP for 2 turns. If you ever played Raid Shadow Legends, she's basically Valkyrie in this, where she's giving her the team a massive shield and the counterattack capability all in 1 turn here on a 4-turn cooldown, which is a 3-turn when you have her fully booked or exclusive out. And you can really talk about her exclusives with this character because you're guaranteed to eventually get them as you progress through the game, because she's going to be able to do this, she can do this move and then do this guy. So I guess technically not really a 3-turn there consistently, but she can at least move more often when you have her fully exclusive. So amazing character here. Initially, when I didn't have her that first exclusive, I was making her the slowest character on my team, because I would want everyone to get the counterattack as much as possible. But this passive here has been more useful for me when I have an exclusive 1 here to get this other layer of debuff. So it's kind of up to you on how you want to do this. Do you want her to go first to cleanse off? Do you want to go last so you get multiple turns of counterattack? Pretty much up to you on how you want to do that. But that is the second to last character here. There's one more character that is guaranteed in this game. This one's going to be a very long time to actually get this character, and it is going to be Agatha here. 600 points into the faction abyss, and it's going to take absolutely forever. As you can see, 50 points into Sword Harbor Guards here, and these are the kind of characters I have. I have Catherine, like fully max Catherine. We got Sigmund and Zia here, all 3 of these, and then I'm only at 50 points of this, so that's not even enough on average to get her. I would need 60 on average. So it really gives you an idea of what you're going to need for all of these sections here to be able to even come close to getting Agatha. But she is a guaranteed free-to-play character. So she's one of the hardest hitting auto attacks in the game, because it's 480% damage just from the auto there, which is nuts. Also is applying Countess Kiss. Each layer increases the leech by 2%. And then her A2 removes all buffs from a single enemy and deals 580% attack. What is that? 700% attack damage when booked. Increased damage by 20% if buffs are successfully removed. Then restores HP by 10% of the damage dealt by the skill for all allies. So it's going to hit like an absolute truck and be able to heal off that. Then her passive, Agatha, grants immunity to severe wound and has a 26% or 30% chance to transfer shield or heal gained by enemy targets to herself, which is wild. And then lastly, deals 3 stages of 190% attack damage each to all enemies and inflicts 1 layer of Countess Kiss. And that is her final thing. But lastly, she's one of the most interesting exclusive characters because you can exclusive her out all the way through. Even level, normally this is just like 50 speed, 50 speed. But with her, you actually get something there. And then she gets pretty complicated here. And I don't think anyone's pulled her yet, because you would need to have gotten this far, and it would take an absolute insane whale to get that many characters up there. Here is what she can do. So steals targets buffs instead and restores HP by 20% on Bloody Spiral. Which move is that? I believe it's this, yeah. So she steals them instead of removes them. And then immune to all control effects when she has a shield. So that's pretty nuts. And grants a heal effect when she has a shield. Revives the target with 40% max HP if they're dead allies at the start of the turn. That's absolutely insane. Speed here, each layer Countess Kiss increases direct damage taken by the target by 2.5%. Lastly, Agatha inflicts Countess Curse on all enemies at the beginning of each wave. Targets who have Countess Curse cannot be revived. So that's absolutely wild. The only person I can really think of that stops revival is, but you need exclusive 3 here. Ignores immortal and damage immunity, and then enemy killed cannot be revived. So one of the very few characters that can stop revival that could be useful in Tower of Mark. There is one of these bosses here that actually constantly revives the people, and it would be pretty sick to be able to clear it. You just kill those guys, and then you're stuck on the boss, so it really invalidates the mechanics of the boss there, and very few characters can actually do that. So would probably be pretty helpful, at least in there. Obviously in arena, if you're facing against a Luna, for example, that's going to be super sick to just be able to, guaranteed when she kills someone, make sure they can't be revived. So obviously super amazing character. This is super late game stuff here. Hopefully this kind of gives you a frame of reference on how long we're talking here, when you can actually get her. But awesome character to pull. So that's going to be all the free characters in this. There is obviously all these mythic characters here are guaranteed free, but I feel like they deserve their own video because they're all kind of on their own level here. And if also this would go for like an hour if I want to talk about all these guys. So I'm going to end it here. Separate video coming for these guys. But with that, guys, I am out of here. Peace.